Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to discuss a few things. It's going to be a small video and it's going to discuss about few statistics. So what are we going to discuss? We're going to talk about critical damage, we're going to talk about critical chance, we're going to talk about elite damage and boss damage. So first we will talk about critical damage. So what is critical damage? Critical damage is the damage which is created whenever you hit a critical shot. Let me just give you a visual representation of this really quick. So when we go to a map, a random map, so this is a random map. Okay, somebody's here to mess up. Alright, so you just go to a random map and you just give it a few shots. So you can see the word critical pop up occasionally, not every time, but once in a while you can see it pop up, right? So that is what we call as critical damage. So whenever you are seeing this word critical pop-up, that is literally a critical shot. So let me just head back. So what does critical damage do? So critical damage quite simply affects the damage that is caused when you get a critical shot. So the more the critical damage you have, the higher the critical shot that you can higher the damage on the critical shot. So how do you get critical damage? So there are several ways. One of them is through gears. Let me show you one gear of warrior class which will help you get critical damage, and that is a star helmet. So if you can see the star helmet has a 5% critical damage on it. So what that means is that you have a 5% damage on critical. So that will increase your critical damage by 5%. So that is critical damage. Now we'll move on to the second one, that is critical chance. So as the name suggests, what is critical chance really? So critical chance is like it just, as the name suggests, right? It increases the chance of you to get a critical shot. So as you saw when I went to the map, occasionally the word critical comes up, right? So the more you have a critical chance, the higher is your ability to hit critical shots. So let me just show you where one simple way you can increase your critical chance, and that is through your passives. So in your passives, you will see that there is one option here, and that is called as critical shot. So on critical shot, you can see that if you increase that passive, it increases your critical chance by how much of a percentage passive do you give to that. So that is critical chance. So what do you have to critical shot? So what you have to really understand about critical shot and critical damage is that the higher critical shot you have, the better critical damage you should have, so that you can leverage that. So if you're going to hit more critical shots, it is better to have a high critical damage, so that overall you're giving a higher damage whenever you're in maps. So that covers these two. Now additionally, we're going to talk about elite damage. So elite damage is a damage which will increase your overall damage in elite maps. So whenever you enter an elite map and if you have elite damage on your gears, it will directly increase your damage. So the argument would be, what is more important for somebody? Is it critical damage or is it elite damage? So the answer is it depends, because if you have a higher critical shot, or if you have a higher critical shot, that is, you are able to hit a lot of critical shots in a map, then it's pretty obvious that because you have a lot of critical shots happening, and if you have a high crit damage, then you're really going to be able to clear the map easily. On the other hand, if you have a higher crit damage, but your critical shots are very rare, which means that it just happens once in a while, so then even though you have a high critical damage, since it's happening a bit rare, it will just nullify it and you will not really be causing a lot of damage. On the other hand, elite damage directly affects your core damage in elite maps. So in that scenario, if you're barely able to do critical shots, it would be preferable to have elite damage. But in general, it's always a rule of thumb to choose critical damage over elite damage. That being said, we're going to go to the last one, that is boss damage. So in case of boss damage, as the name suggests, it is the damage that you can cause to the boss. So whenever you're in contact with the boss, if you have a higher boss damage, it will be more easier to kill the boss. I'm not going to complicate it more than that. But there's one gear which can give you a lot of boss damage, and that is the Divine Ring, just an inflammation. So sometimes whenever you are into like Elgit Rakabor or something like that, it's always preferable to have a Divine Ring since it has high boss damage, and that helps. That's what I've heard. So that's it for this video, and as I learn more, we will discuss more about these statistics and several other things. As of now, let's see you all later, and I'm gonna help this noob.